Hello, everyone. Welcome to our monthly live session. This month, I have got an awesome surprise for you. Well, it's not a surprise because I already announced, but this is the first time we are doing a live stream with another guest. I've asked Oz du Soleil, one of my good friends and an Excel MVP author, a fellow YouTuber, and a very good storyteller to come and join us to share some of his experiences as well as answer your data questions. So this is going to be very exciting. I got up a little early today because I had to welcome Oz as well, and then we were just catching up in the back room. So let me bring him up, and then I'll come and talk to you guys. Hey Oz, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Yeah. I'm happy
Yeah,
about this. Yeah.
cool.
And you're not up just a little early. You're up a lot early.
That's right. So it's yeah. Uh, in fact, I was actually talking to my wife last night that
Hmm.
probably this is the last time I do live streams at this time of the hour,
Okay.
and then maybe move it to some other part of the day just so that it's not super early for me.
Hmm.
I don't mind waking up early, but for example, I in the weekends I almost always wake up at 4:30 or 4 o'clock anyway, and then I do some work. Whereas live stream means it's almost like you have to put on a show. So your
Hmm.
waking up is one thing, but you have to be fully ready, and uh, so
Yeah. Yeah.
that's a different dynamic altogether.
Yes,
So
it is.
that's
But
why.
but yeah. But it says something about what we do to share the
Yeah.
knowledge. Right, getting up you at 4 o'clock in the morning, and you're upside down in New Zealand, so you got to deal with gravity issues too, right?
Yeah. I mean, the
Yeah,
gravity
yeah.
is the big problem for us here.
Yes, because I hear about there's like 3 people a year fall into the sky and never come back up.
That's
Yeah.
just in the North Island. I mean,
Oh,
if you go to the
okay.
South Island, that's even further down, and
Ooh.
they stopped counting people
They-
who.
and you got to deal with penguins and everything else, man.
Oh,
But also in the behind the scenes stuff, there's like all the time editing video and everything, not just getting up
yeah.
in the morning, just sitting here in the middle of the night in my underwear, thinking about, okay, I got to get this video done. I've already put 10 hours into this video. And then I hear the people that say, okay, you should release the video at a certain time and this, that. You know what? When this thing is done, it's posting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh well, I know what you mean. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna just
Right. Yeah.
show
Yeah.
some of the messages because we got people
Yeah.
saying hello from all over the world.
Yeah.
So first up, welcome everybody. So as you could see, we got the great Oz Excel on fire on the channel. So feel free to say hello to him
Yes,
and give him a
please.
warm, nice welcome to
Warm.
him. Uh,
Yes.
yeah, I
Yes.
mean he's on fire, so you could probably give him a cold welcome.
Right. Yeah. It might take a little bit of thaw out, but yeah,
Yeah.
we'll make it work. Okay. And there's Era Link 2. Hello to
Yeah,
you. Yes. Eric. Oh,
yeah,
it's Eric Lane. Eric
yeah.
Lane. Yeah, I know Eric Lane. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we got Paula speaks. Hi, Friday. Looking forward to this. Hey, Paula, good to have you here.
All right. All right. Paula.
And we already started getting questions from Balachandra, etc. But we're gonna take questions in a minute. We'll just
Okay.
kind of feel comfortable,
Yeah.
have some coffee.
That's right.
Take it slow, really.
Yeah.
uh,
Because it's still early. It's still early.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
SS says, Hi Chandu, Shaifali from India. Hi Shaifali, how are
Okay.
you?
It doesn't say hi to me. See,
Yeah.
okay. See, right,
Some,
right. I was
yeah,
gonna take
Gayatri
everybody to
says,
see the Baba Jiki Booty, but no, not SS. No Baba Jiki Booty for SS. No. But
Gayatri says, Hello Chandu and Oz from Michigan, USA. Hey Gayatri, how are you?
Michigan. Yeah. So do you like that song?
Or does it go? Sorry.
Uh, Life lege film semasya zero Baba Jibuti
Uh,
la la la
uh,
la la
I'll
la
probably
la la
have to
la.
listen to it.
Okay, all right, yeah. But you knew that one about people can't
She
dance
knows
a lot.
about that one. See, she says Babaji Booty. Well, I think someone knows what the all the pop culture references. George,
Yeah.
oh wow, from Porto, Portugal. Hey, hey, George.
Portugal. Oi,
Hey.
oi, Portugal. Yes. Yes, yes, yes.
And Reverian says from Rwanda. Hi, hi, hi.
Rwanda.
Wow,
Wow.
this is like
Wow.
a global representation. I'm
Yes.
gonna put up our panel as well.
And it's
Welcome to
beautiful.
ask
It's
your
so
data
beautiful,
questions.
to
Yeah,
have such a truly international um
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So
We got
I will share with you.
Elita
Here we go.
Smite says from Latvia, and
Latvia.
oh, go. Idris
Wow.
says from
Idris. Nigeria.
Nigeria. Hey,
Ah, all around.
yes, all around. We got some regulars as well. Ayuda Excel
Mhm.
says, "Hi, my friends. Hi, hi, Ayuda."
Hello, hello.
And ooh, Tino Siloy says from hello from Indonesia. I'm gonna
Indonesia.
just say time in Indonesia.
Man.
Oh wow, it's almost 11 in the night. Oh, that's not late, I guess.
Right.
Anything past 12 is like late for me.
Woo. Oh
uh,
yeah. So I gave the link to the
yeah,
song. Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
All
Okay.
right.
So did you want to talk
So
about something from? Are we just gonna be off the rails the whole time? That's okay
nah,
too. That's
nah.
okay.
This
Okay.
is how it goes.
All right.
So
All right.
it always starts with this. This is the question: what are you drinking?
What
Because
am I doing?
every time I
Oh,
do a live stream, I want to know what people are drinking. So, are
I
you
have
drinking some?
this
Oh, sparkling
sparkling
you. Ooh, okay,
coconut water with yuzu.
okay, wow.
Yeah, that's what I have.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
nothing
that's
dangerous.
interesting. Yeah,
Or maybe this is a prop, and my real drink is over to the side.
you could just pour that real drink into that. No one would know.
But this is genuine. Just
Yeah,
sparkling coconut water with yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
Oh wow. Have you ever tried having some alcohol with coconut water? Because that's a popular combination.
I probably have with at a bar, but I haven't done it myself. Yeah.
Hmm.
Mm,
Okay, I'm gonna
yeah.
see what our people are drinking.
We
Diet
got.
Mountain Dew from EJ. That's a
Oh
good
my
choice.
gosh. That's a
Apple
that's
banana
a
is.
wait a minute, wait a minute. But diet
We
stuff
gotta go.
it usually has that like sucralose or some high school chemistry lab sweetener. Oh, oh, but that's all right. People are
Hmm.
adults. I allow adults to do what adults do. If you want, Diet Mountain Dew.
Hmm.
Okay,
Yeah,
there you go.
you have Oz seal of approval there.
Yes, we
Apple
got.
banana is having water. That's better.
Hmm.
No high school
Hmm.
chemistry there. Just hydrogen and oxygen there. Yeah.
We got
And
cold coffee.
Gary says Milwaukee, Wisconsin's 11
Hmm.
a.m.
Yep.
Dino is having hot chocolate. That's
Hot
cool.
chocolate.
I am having my usual cup of coffee because it's nice and early for me. So coffee is what I have. And Eric says cola is equal to
Cola.
cold caffeine. Yeah.
Hmm. And there's Bira. What does Janice have? Bira.
Ooh, that's probably beer.
Oh, okay.
SSE is having something. Oh, Kaju Fanny with coconut. Okay. So she's
Okay.
probably, or she or he, they're having something very
Okay.
close to what you're having. You're having coconut as well.
Yes, yes, that's right.
Yeah.
African
Janit is
Tiva.
having bira. It's
Tea,
probably
tea,
the.
right?
Mm,
African tea. Rwanda.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
from Rwanda, African tea. Oh, well, that's cool.
yeah,
And Joseph is having a cold one in Nairobi. Yep, perfect. I
right. Yeah.
guess.
And,
Uh,
and and no cocktails, huh? No bourbon, gin,
mm.
cheap wine. Nobody's having cheap wine in a paper bag, right?
Yeah, we'll have
Oh
to
man,
see what people
yeah,
will. What maybe they're having. They're not willing to share.
right. That's true too. That's true too.
Yeah,
Yep. You don't want to post
awesome.
all your business. Then it's all, then you're gonna be doing something famous, and then somebody pulls up this chat
Yeah,
message when you were drinking
Shashank
cheap
is having a
wine.
brandy. Okay, see, that's good.
Yes, brandy. All right, having a good
Yeah,
time over there.
yeah.
Yeah,
Someone says we love our liver kidneys. That's good. Yeah, that's a good
yeah.
choice. I mean, you want to drink, but you would drink responsibly, I guess.
Well, no, he's talking about what he's having for lunch. Liver and kidneys. Yeah,
That is
yeah.
possible as well. You never know.
With some
Hmm.
onions and some sriracha and some
Yeah.
rice. Yeah.
Okay.
See?
Yeah, and then Greg Rayleigh is having Bird Dog Peach Whiskey, so that's pretty good. All right.
Yeah.
So
Okay, so we got that
so
out of
good
that
to
way.
yes,
Yeah.
I think it's so good to have you here, Oz. Welcome officially to the live stream on the channel.
Thank you.
What we're gonna do is it's really simple. We'll answer some questions. So this month's theme is your data questions. So people can post anything. So feel free to, you know, just post any questions when you are asking a question. Just put Q and then ask your question. That's pretty
Yes.
much it. It's a very simple, straightforward business.
Hmm.
if
Yep.
if you if you remember, I did ask you to give me some questions up ahead, so there were like about 50 odd questions in
Yep.
my Google Docs that I combined. I don't want to go through all the 50 because that'll
But we
probably
can't.
keep you
Yeah.
here until Christmas. So
Right.
instead, what we're going to do is Oz has identified some questions that he wants to answer. So we'll circle through them, but we'll
Hmm.
take the first questions from the chat and then later we'll go to some of those questions. We'll switch
Yes.
back and forth. And along way, we're going to learn a little bit of Excel, have a little bit of fun, chat,
Yeah.
and, take it
Yeah.
easy, really.
Yeah. Yeah. Take it easy. And I
Yeah.
posted LinkedIn. I posted the links to people so people could come,
Mm.
but also said that we don't know anything about beekeeping or home appliance repair, so we can't
Oh,
handle
okay.
those. Right. Right.
Hmm.
But
So
if
if
people
someone
have,
says Excel doesn't work on my refrigerator, that's not something that we are gonna answer.
unless you have an answer, I
No.
don't have an answer for that.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
Right. 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 Right.
All right,
Right.
let's start with this one then.
Yes.
Janit says, "What's the biggest difference between DAX and M language?" All right, you wanna take that?
No. No.
No. Okay, so I guess they are different languages. Let's get it out there. So if
Hmm.
you're thinking somehow M and DAX are like same and there is one big difference, then you're wrong because they are two different things to begin with. The the way to look at it is DAX is the language that you use when you are doing stuff in Power Pivot. M is the language that you use when you're doing stuff in Power Query. So that's the real thing. But if it go down to a little bit more semantics and the language specifications itself, another key difference, and this is really what annoys me the most, is DAX is not case sensitive, but M is case sensitive. In fact, Excel formula languages are not case sensitive. Um, in a way, even VBA is not case sensitive. But you have got this M language, which is part of the pack, but it is case sensitive. You feel that, Oz, like when you're writing some M code, do you ever even write anything in M, or are you always using screen features? But does it
Very,
catch you off guard?
very little M code. Very
Mm.
little. Usually I am using the interface.
I use
Um,
the interface all the time. But I
Yeah.
find that because it's case sensitive, sometimes it catches us off guard because
Okay.
you traditionally come into M from Excel or Power BI. Most of the time, those are not case sensitive, so we are not even thinking about capital caps lock or not when we are searching for find replace or whatever. And then
Hmm.
here you have got DAX that has a little bit of, oh, I can't find this because it's you put it in caps.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I haven't
Mm,
encountered that. And if I had, then I would
mm,
deal with it. But and then I have not used Power BI for much of anything.
mm,
'Cause usually, eh, correct me if I'm wrong, but usually you want your export to be some kind of a visualization when you
mm.
go to Power BI.
Yeah,
And that's not my world. My world has been data cleansing.
yeah.
And I might build a tool that
Mm,
moves stuff around, split columns, move this here, imports this thing from a folder and moves this, and but then the result is not some kind of a dashboard. The result might be some kind of a list, like
mm,
a packing list that I did for a small company. They made meals that they would deliver every week, and there was a whole lot of data cleansing, and the result in the end was this delivery person on this route needs 20 pints of salmon soup, 5 pints of vegetable soup, 35 baguettes of bread, and 40 salads.
mm.
That's what my export needed to be.
Yeah,
But I do see, and I don't think you'd do something like that in Power BI.
yeah. No, I mean, you could, but probably it's not advisable. People use it for all sorts of things.
Yeah,
But yeah, that's probably where Excel is the best because then you can just get out in the way that people want. Okay,
yeah,
so that's cool, but I hope that was helpful, Janet. The key difference is they are two different languages, so you
yeah.
don't want to ever confuse them for the same thing. They are different. One is the language that Power Pivot speaks, the other is the language that Power Query speaks. Okay, let's take a look at this one from Jake. Will you please talk through building income statements via Power Pivot? Have you ever done any kind of income financial type of analysis,
No,
Oz?
no.
Okay,
Mm-mm.
interesting. I did a little bit of finance work. In fact, I think I did more than my fair share. Like if it's like if it's a cross that we must all bear, then I could say yeah, I built some financial statements.
Mhm, mhm.
And this was way before Power Pivot existed, so I would always just make them in Excel. But later on, like this was before I was running my own business. I would build them for some other people or from analysis perspective. But later when I started my business, I had this huge temptation to maintain my accounts and everything in Excel spreadsheets. But I knew better. I said, okay, this is not something that I'm going to get into because it's going to make our job very hard. It's not, Excel is good for analysis, keeping the data, but it's not the right platform to maintain your accounts. If you could use something a little bit more professional or well suited for that. So anyhow, I ended up hiring an accountant because then they were using whatever they use to do
Yeah,
all of this stuff.
yeah. Cause
Yeah.
cause that kind of stuff, it involves some quite serious background knowledge.
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
it does involve background knowledge, the taxation and the regulation of all of these things. Like how do you prepare an income statement? Because I remember one of the most grueling classes for me when I was doing my management degree is the um, it's called MAC, Management Accounting and Control, and to begin with, because I came from an engineering or a technical background, I found that the whole world of accounting is a little bit counterintuitive for me. Because in
Hmm.
an engineering scenario, uh, you get used to this idea of writing equations where things only happen on one side at a time.
Mhm.
Whereas in accounting, for every debit or everything, there is an opposite transaction posted on another ledger to balance it. And this
Mhm.
was like, why are we balancing?
Mhm.
What is the purpose of this? Like,
Mhm. Mhm.
like, uh, you would have a depreciation of maybe $100, and then it gets balanced somewhere else, and it's like,
Yeah.
what the heck is going on
Yeah.
here?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
for me, that was the hard bit. Anyhow, coming
Yeah.
back to your question, Jake, um, I think demoing the whole process of building Power Pivot income statements is going to be a little tricky because we'll have to start from the scratch. But you can do it because Power Pivot does give you that flexibility, whereas a traditional Excel might take more time to process that. You could potentially build some sort of a statement, probably not the regulatory official statement that you are supposed to produce, but certain things like what is your sales, revenue, profit, depreciation, and then do some projections and everything using Power Pivot. I haven't really talked much about it, but if this is an idea that other people like, let me know in the chat. That way, this is something that I could, because I have the experience, I could probably make another video where I talk about how do you make a basic income statement using Power Pivot. Um, so yeah,
Right.
unfortunately, we're not going to give you the detailed answer, just some stories and notes, I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Because there was one time when I was running a nonprofit, we had an accountant do the numbers so that we could report it in a brochure.
Mm,
And then somebody else went in and just kind of moved stuff around to where the math was there, but she was trying to save space on the page.
oh yeah.
And then another accountant looked at it and said, "Wait a minute, this is not proper. This looks like somebody trying to hide something."
Yeah.
And I said, "Just like the way the stuff sits here, I mean, the math is all there."
Yeah,
But she
no,
said,
you can't.
"No,
You can't move stuff around on a profit loss statement or a balance sheet. That's like a sin. My accounting professor would give you a D grade if you just do that. Like if it's on the not on the correct column in the correct order, that's it.
right,
You're gone.
wow." And just see, and that's the kind of thing is I've had clients in the finance world, and yeah, it's too much background knowledge. And there was
Mm,
one guy who got upset with me, and then he finally broke it down in such a way to where I figured out he wanted projected versus actual. That's what he
mm,
wanted. But he never, it took him so long because he's explaining all this financial stuff to me. And he's wanting me to basically do the math to help him, bring all this stuff together. And then finally, when he made it really simple, okay,
mm.
projected versus actual. Okay, we can do this. All right. So, yeah, next question.
Okay, so there are some general questions on how to become like a data analyst kind of thing. I
Well,
will address them later. We could
yeah,
probably do
yeah.
a little bit of more specific question, because like there's a general question of how do I go to United States, but there is a specific question of how do you go to the
Right.
street where Woz is living.
Right,
So
right.
let's answer those questions first.
Okay, okay. And then I want to be able to be sure to get to Jan's question about how has my professional life changed, and you can answer that too. Okay,
Yeah.
so I definitely want to get to that one, but what order do you want to
Mm.
take them?
So I'm just reading from top to bottom.
Okay.
Uh, there's this one. I think this is something that someone actually put in the spreadsheet as well. The form that I said, if you've got questions up front. So I want to paste data from one sheet to visible cells only in filter. How can I do that? Do you hear this sort of a question often in?
Not often,
Mm,
but so much of the stuff I do is I'll do it one time in a
Mm,
lifetime because it's like I'm working with a chef, I'm working at a marijuana dispensary, and then there's an insurance agent and there's a flower shop, and you know,
mm.
so many different things.
Yeah. So I'm just going to pull up some made up data here in my Excel, and then we'll try to do what happens if we try to copy paste into filtered cells. You probably would have realized, Ali, what it would do. So just give me a second here. I'll
And
bring up
Jerison
something.
is
Mm.
here. Oi, amigo. Oi. Yeah, he's down there in Brazil, Sao Paulo. I got to meet him a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Yeah, that's one.
there's Jerison. Good
All
guy,
right.
good guy.
Maybe while I do that, we'll come back to your question, Ali. There, I'm just gonna pull up something else so that we keep talking.
Okay. So,
Do you
uh,
want to talk about this?
transitioning to data analytics. So this it kind of gets into this how to become an analyst
Mm.
kind
Maybe
of
we'll come
thing.
back to that. We'll do this one. This is
Yeah,
a little
yeah,
bit more
we
specific. New and professional services says, how can I split text in one column into three columns: date, description, and amount? I guess this is something that you specialize in all the
Yeah,
time.
yeah, and the thing with these kinds of questions is I would need to know how the data is set up.
Yep.
Do you have any delimiters that you have that make it clear, or do you have any weird kind of things that will make a clean split difficult?
Mm.
Because you have okay, text to columns. All right. Now you get a challenge if, say, you're splitting by most columns, but then there is one thing that has a comma that you want to keep together. Now you got a problem. Do you have some hyphens that you can use? Okay, so there's text to columns, there is split column by delimiters in Power Query, and there's so many of those. It's beautiful. You can split digit to non-digit, split by a hyphen, split by a colon, whatever. Um, and now we got the dynamic arrays and text before and text after.
Yep.
Yes, yes, very powerful stuff. So there's a lot of options there, lots of tools, but it really depends on how your data is set up and being able to identify where the splits should happen. And then there's times where you have different types of data all mixed in. So maybe you've got a first name and a last name, and then a few are last name, comma, first name. And then you have some that might have a comma DDS because the person is a dentist.
Mm.
So now you gotta really, you might want to flag things based on the type that they are. Is this uh, a first name, last name?
Yep.
Deal with that section. And then you got to deal with two-part last names like Du Soleil, DU
Mm.
space, right? So this is the kind of thing, right? You got to understand your data first. What's
Yep.
in here that might screw me up? Put things into chunks, things that might have a professional designation on the end. Take
Mm.
those, put them by themselves, and then you can split this type this way, split this type another way, and then split this type this way. And then you might have some junk left over that, maybe five of them just have to be handled manually because they got their whole address in with the name. So these are all of the kind of things that I watch out for and have questions about. And when I'm working with clients, I always ask
Mm.
them, "Do you have any weird situations that we have to watch out for?" Because I am not going to be arrested for some weird thing that happened in the data that you didn't tell me about.
Yeah, yeah, I know what you mean. I think a lot of data, I pretty much anything you do with data, but probably more so when you are collecting and managing the data, depends on how it is, where it's coming from, and what is the usual route it takes, or where some of those exceptions are.
Hmm.
And if you don't know much about that, then you will end up either doing half-assed job, or you will just come up with something that only works until Friday, and then suddenly it breaks.
Right, 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 right.
Yeah.
You got to watch this stuff, Jack. You got to watch
Yeah.
it.
So
Yeah.
here I think he put some example here. So for example, this is a line item. What I'm gonna do is, I don't know how we can copy.
But we got so many questions coming in. We got so
Mm.
many interesting questions coming
Yep.
in. Ranger Rover is asking about Google Sheets becoming a threat to Excel. Um,
Mm.
I'm
You want
not
to
so
talk about
worried
that?
about it. There was one time when Google was pushing this thing for data cleansing, and some of us
Mm.
got concerned about it being a threat to Power Query, because Power Query is like it for data cleansing and stuff, makes it so easy. Power Query has eliminated my own needs to write VBA code. I haven't written VBA code since the summer of 2015. Um, so I'm not so worried about Google Sheets.
Mm.
Folks, pay attention to it. You always have to be concerned, definitely. Um, but I don't see an immediate threat. I still see Google Sheets as like some toy version of Excel.
I guess that's a little. I would probably not say that, but what
Okay,
I
okay.
find that, for example, there are certain things for which I find Google has had the advantage of not having to carry the baggage that Excel carries with it all the time. Because many
Okay.
times the choices that the designers have to make in Excel are, oh, if we make this happen in Excel, how would this look in Excel 97 that someone is using still, or
Hmm.
whatever, right?
Sure,
So
sure.
some of those
Yes.
choices they have to put. Whereas for Google, they have got no legacy.
Right.
So they could go and start thinking afresh for some of the things. A classic example is the Google Forms and Google Spreadsheet integration. If
Hmm.
I want to collect some data from, for this video, this live stream, we posted, hey, put your questions, we're gonna look them up in the back end. So you are putting the questions on the form, but the data automatically is going into my Google spreadsheet,
Right.
because they have built the tighter integration, their products. Later
Hmm.
on, Microsoft added their own forms, and it kind of integrates, but it doesn't integrate all the way to my desktop Excel. It integrates to a
OneDrive.
file on my OneDrive, and then we will have to keep it sync and all of that.
Yeah.
So there is a little bit of friction there. Whereas
Sure.
for Google, it was just one click. I don't even have to tell, like everything is automatic.
Right.
So and that is just one example. They got some other things, right? I think the filter function that we are now using in Excel, there is like, I'm not really saying that, oh, the original version is in Google or anything, but they had filter for such a long time. They had query and few other useful functions, which
Yeah.
as a tech person, I got Google spreadsheet envy sometime from time to time. I look at some of the
Wow.
things that they have, and I think, oh, wouldn't it be cool if Excel has these? That'll make our job a little better from time to time.
Right. And I
Yeah.
appreciate that you disagree with me a bit,
Mm.
because, you know, I will admit that I haven't taken a deep dive into Google Sheets. What I will do is I'll start going into that Google Sheets pond, and I start getting knee deep and say, wait,
Mm.
there's some weird stuff in here. Like
Yes.
somebody, he was managing a sales team, and he was trying to deal with the sales team putting in weird results. Like, okay, so the action was a face-to-face meeting, but the result was wrong phone number. Wait a
Mm.
minute, that makes no sense. So he needed dependent drop down lists. So if he had a face-to-face meeting, he needed to have things like, person didn't show up, or
Mm.
good meeting, person needs to think about it, but wrong number, that makes no sense. But they had all of the possible results there.
Mm.
So to make dependent drop down lists, at least at the time in Google Sheets, it was so delicate. And
Yeah.
if you needed to add more entries or remove entries, you had to do it all over again. Whereas in Excel, there's a standard way of creating dependent drop down lists. You put the stuff in the tables, you need to add or remove entries, just do it.
Yeah. Yeah, I know
You know,
what you mean. I think because it also is a completely cloud platform,
oh,
the experience of Google Sheets changes from time to time. So some of the annoying things that you may have seen an year or two ago may not be the case anymore. They might have
hmm
come up with a better version of that
hmm
feature. There might be something else that is annoying now, but still, it's always evolving. In a way, it's like the Excel 365. You're on a treadmill that is always changing.
yeah,
So even though you're doing the same old thing, the scenery is changing, the buttons
yeah,
are changing, everything is changing.
yeah,
All right, I want to
yeah.
acknowledge
Okay.
the chat as well
Yeah. All
from
right.
Vipin
Oh,
VP. I think two of them, or maybe there's just my thing showing up incorrectly. Okay,
yeah.
so
Wow, we're rich
maybe
now.
we'll do a little bit of technical bit. When we were talking about how to split the data, I did make up something on the side. So I
Okay.
thought, we'll show that. That way, we get to do a little bit of demo as well. How do I? Yeah. Thank you, Vipin, for the super chat and sticker, I guess. Thank you so much. And so here I made up something. This is just randomly made up right now as you're talking, because we didn't know what questions you're going to ask in live. So we haven't really prepared for live data scenarios. But in a way, this is similar to your bank statement extract that someone posted. So assuming this is how you got a separator, but the separators are not unique. They're not the same. So you got a name and then the tilde or whatever that is, and then you have the
Really, yeah.
company name, and then it always has this X followed by a number, and you want to get this into separate things. Like Oz mentioned, there's a couple of ways to do this. So anytime you're doing stuff in Excel, I would always think that it's like Google Maps or one of those kind of map software. You're here, you want to go there. When you ask the map, it will not plot one route, but it will show you multiple options. Here is this one road. This one will save you 3 minutes. This one requires you to pay a toll. This one requires you to walk, whatever. So Excel also gives you multiple opportunities. And as an Excel learner and user, I always encourage people to know at least the options. If you always take the same route, you will miss the scenery or the fun or the whimsy of some of the other options that are out there. So at least know what is out there, then make a choice. Don't always just say, oh, I always go north here. That's probably not the wisest choice all the time.
Right.
So one way is we could use select all of this data, uh, and then you can go data, text to columns, and then because there is a clear delimiter, like in this case, uh, we do have data that looks a bit messed up, but the delimiters are there. I can go next and then pick my delimiter. In this case, the delimiter would be other. We'll do two splits, so you could split at the tilde and then finish. That'll give you two columns, and then you'll repeat this for the X. Now, when you're repeating this from the X, the problem is, what if the name also contains an X somewhere in the middle?
Yep.
These are randomly made up data, but it is possible that you have got that there. So would you split here, or do you want to split there? Obviously we want to split from the end. So this is what Oz is saying, right? You could build your process thinking there will only be one X, but you will be in for a surprise when there is a second X that shows up.
A
So
bad surprise, not a good
yes.
surprise. No.
Yeah, so this is a limitation if I use just the text to columns approach. I'm going to show you one more approach. The second approach is we could also use flash fill, which is basically a pattern engine Excel built into it.
Yes.
You fan of flash fill, Oz?
You have to be careful with it.
Yeah.
Another one, right? I am a fan of it
Hmm.
cautiously.
Hmm. So let's try the FF option. Here in the flash fill, the beauty is you can start typing the data as you want and Excel will figure it out. So let's just say we only want the number part. We don't care for anything else. I can type 178, 173,
Look at that
and
ghosting.
then yeah, and it already shows, but I think I was too quick. So after that, if I press Control E, E for elephant, it's gonna give you all the values. I think it did a reasonably good job there. Everything was nice and tidy. But again, this is where things can get a little bit crazy, especially if your data doesn't follow the same pattern all the way through,
Right.
or if you got some conflicting information somewhere in the middle, like one of these company names also has a number in it,
Right.
and then probably an X there just for fun.
Oh,
It's gonna break. So this is another option. And the third option is you could use Power Query. I won't do a demo of Power Query, but that's also available. You could write text split, one of the new functions that they have added. Have you played with the text split?
yes, yes, yes.
Yes, so there you go. I will be making a video on text split function on the channel, but feel free
Or
to check out. I think few others
text
have,
after, text
yeah,
before.
text before. So let's try this text before. I haven't used them much. I know that they existed. I played them with a bit, but I haven't really done proper research. So we can select that, and then the delimiter would be, I guess, X. Oh, this is where things get. The help is not showing up. Is that the case, or?
Mm. Oh, the
Oh,
help. What? Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
And then, so match end is probably, it's going to match from the end and go this way, isn't it? Is that what that does?
Yeah.
Oh, so we are using text before. Should have used text after. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it's going to match the X from the end, and then it'll give you whatever is there. And it'll give you that. I'm just going to do some test scenarios here. So that comes up. See, the
Mm-hmm.
flash fill one doesn't change. Once you write it's kind of fixed there, whereas the
Yep.
text, this one
One and
changes, Power
done.
Query changes. So these are better options for you, because if data changes, then it's gonna update those results as well. I'm gonna just kind of muck around. Let's put an X. Ooh,
Yeah.
that's
See.
interesting. See,
See. Yep. Yep.
so you
Yep.
gotta know those functions before I'm gonna read the.
Yeah. And this is the kind of thing where you need a strategy, and maybe
Hmm.
maybe you know that this is going to happen, and you do it anyway because
Hmm.
now you realize maybe you got five that are like this. Okay, I can fix five,
Hmm.
but I'm not going to try to deal with 200 all at once. So strategies are as important as just knowing functions.
Yeah. You're totally right there. Okay, so that's a quick demo for one of the questions that you guys asked. Feel
Yeah.
free to put more questions. I'm gonna. Do you want to pick something? You let me know, because if I put that there, then it kind of makes it tricky
Uh,
for us to not answer it if you don't want to.
right.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. Let's see. I'm looking in this sheet. Uh, what kind of things do we have here? Uh, more questions about being an expert and converting data. Here's the one. How do you convert data from PDF to Excel and keep the original format? This was
Mm.
asked by Abdel Aziz.
So, are you referring to the spreadsheet that had the
Yeah,
questions?
yeah,
Okay.
row
Mm.
26.
Okay. Let's just. I'm gonna.
Okay.
So let's add that.
So I'll go ahead and start answering this. So
Yep. So this
this
is one of the
question,
pre-submitted questions, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Go ahead,
yeah.
please.
Okay. The part about and keep the format of the original data. that almost never happens.
Yeah.
So you have to accept that.
Mm.
When you convert data from a PDF, that's like cranking this crank and hearing the music, and then boom, the Jack in the Box comes out, and you don't know what it's gonna look like. It can
Yeah.
have big teeth, it could have its hair missing, whatever. And so now you got to be prepared to clean the stuff up. And here's another place where strategy is critical. When I would have to, I did this a lot. I would have several different tools
Hmm.
convert the PDF into Excel and look at which one was going to be the least difficult to clean up. It's just part of the process. There's trying it. Okay, so Word can open
Mm.
a PDF. You can now import into Power Query from a PDF. There are online tools. There's all kinds of things, but they almost never will give you your original format. You're gonna have to be ready to do some kind of cleansing.
Yeah. 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 I totally agree. I think you're mixing, and this is where I find that when we try to mix things, then that creates more problems for you, because you are putting yourself into a corner and then saying, why am I in the corner? That's really what this is. You're working against a format. PDF is, I don't know what it stands for. Is it portable data format or whatever?
Something.
uh, Page design format, who knows? PDF is PDF.
Right.
Anyhow, the the PDF was, the whole intention of PDF is that you will get a format that will look exactly same on the screen as it is printed out, and it's kind of like meant to be that rigid specification where you could have the same experience of reading the information on screen versus on paper. Now, later on, people started abusing the PDF format by putting all the valuable data in there. It was never meant to be this data distribution format.
Oh, okay.
It is
I didn't
supposed
know
to be
that.
making the reports and publishing and creating files for you to take you to your printer or desktop thing. I guess that's the whole intention there, right? But now people use PDF. Like my bank insists that they will send me the credit card statements in the PDF format. I mean, if I go into their backend, I can log in, I can download the data into a Excel format,
Hmm.
but they always have this PDF format there. And this is the problem, right? Because if I want to analyze my credit card expenses dating back to last 2 years, the online banking has a limit that it can only show me the data for last 90 days or 180 days if I want to export into Excel.
Hmm.
Whereas the PDF statements, they're happy to give me statement from 6 years ago. So I've got
Hmm.
these Excel PDF files, PDFs, and I want to just read them, get the data. But if I also put an extra condition on me saying that not only do I want the data, but I also want it in that exact format and the colors, then I'm stuck. I will never be able to do that with what we have right now. Tomorrow there might be a technology that will be added into Excel or Google Sheets that can do
Yeah.
it. But right now, as we stand, this is one of the limitations. So a better question to ask would be, how can I get the data from PDF? And then the second question, how do I format it so that it
Yeah.
looks like the PDF? Those are
Yep.
two different things. Getting the data, you got your Power Query or you got your copy paste and strong coffee technique. And when it comes to formatting, you could use Excel formatting. Excel has got all sorts of fonts
Yep.
and colors and everything. Just use
Yep.
them.
Yep. Yep.
Be
You
happy.
gotta watch that stuff. You gotta be a real like.
Hmm.
You gotta be
Yeah.
mean. You gotta like ha 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 ha
Yes.
ha. And then, because there's always something like something that was an S, now it's a B that is now that's extracted from the PDF. So it's not only just all moved around and scrunched up, characters get replaced. And I guess that's the OCR technology, which
Mm.
it slowly it gets better. But you gotta watch that stuff. And EJ is saying that it's portable document format.
Yep.
Okay, yes, we
Yeah.
learned something here.
Yeah.
So yeah, woo,
That's
PDFs,
cool.
Jack.
Yes.
All right,
And this is
developers.
again going back to the same thing. Range Rover is asking the reverse question. It's, I think we can kind of do the same rant again. We'll save the
Mhm.
time. Using the mail merge, can we retain the format of the Excel data? Again, this is something that I have personally done. I have used mail merge extensively when generating some letters for many of my projects here in New Zealand. And there are two things when we say format. The basic thing would be, let's say I've got an Excel cell that says salary 74,000 formatted into dollars. When mail merge reads, it probably just writes 74000 rather than $74 comma 000. So that is one level of format. But if you want to go deep and then ask question like Excel cell has this green color there, and it is bolded, it is using this size of font, that's a different level of formatting. In both cases, what I would advise is, uh, again, you break the task into two steps. The step one is getting the data into Word. Step two is formatting it in either place. If the data is already into the Word, it's a simple matter of changing the colors by selecting the mail merge label, applying your font and colors and bold and whatnot there, and that's how it's going to look in when you merge. But if you want to kind of do it all in one go, then again you are putting yourself into that proverbial corner, saying, is there a one button that will do everything for me? And that is basically how you get into a lot of agony, I guess.
Right, right, right.
Maybe, I don't know, but this is my experience.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So yes, so
Cool.
there's Janeth's question about how has professional life changed. Let's answer that.
Oh yeah, this is a
Yeah,
very good one.
yeah. So the first thing that I'm thinking about is I'll get asked, Oz, will you nominate me to be an MVP?
Hmm.
And it'll be somebody that I don't know or kinda know.
Hmm.
And I'd ask, why do you want to be an MVP? Because it'll help my career. Well, I will say it has not helped my career. I There are other things why I like being an MVP. Having direct access to the engineers and having influence on this program.
Hmm.
Being able to talk with the engineers, giving them suggestions, giving them more use cases, um, seeing highly NDA stuff years in advance, and MVPs being able to have input on what this thing should look like when it shows up in our lives in 5 years.
Hmm.
That's what I've liked. But when I would work with clients, they might say, "Oh, MVP." They don't really know what that is.
What is it? Are
Yeah,
you a
yeah.
basketball player?
Right, right, yeah. Um, or 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 is this something that like 30,000 people around the world have, and it's
Hmm.
just giving out that you took some kind of a test or something? They don't
Hmm.
know. They don't know what this
Yeah.
is. And there was a couple of times I've worked with clients, and something is wrong. I keep trying something, and then I'll talk with the MVPs, and they'll say, "This sounds like a bug. You need to talk to so and so." And then, yeah, the so and so is an engineer, and the engineer says, "Oh, you found a bug." I go back to the client and say, "Yeah, we got a bugs in it that we discovered, and I confirmed it with an engineer at Microsoft, and so we got to go in a different direction."
Hmm.
They don't get the significance of that I was able to
Hmm.
contact somebody that makes Excel.
Yeah.
They don't get it. Right?
Yeah.
And I don't and we can't expect them to get it
Yeah.
because you know in one case it was an animation studio, So they deal with puppets and stuff. Um, so how has life changed? So it does mean something to like get invited to a conference
Mm.
uh, that we're
Yeah.
gonna have MVPs at this conference, and then people come, and that's been great. But the people who do it expecting to change their career, they don't sound like the people who are going to show up and go speak at a conference somewhere.
Mm.
They're at home marketing and making newsletters and making money. And a big thing about being MVP is the community contribution.
Yep.
I genuinely love my audience. The people
Mm.
who say, Oz, I love the video. It was fun. Or you showed me something that made me look like a wizard the very next day. I'm passionate about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And so um it keeps me inspired and creating content and sharing knowledge.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree. I think the MVP program is a very good way for you to be in the presence of all these other technology experts and insanely talented, generous people. Um,
Yeah,
but it's for you to like get a little bit of backstage pass, but it's probably not going to directly impact how you perform in the real world, uh, in your professional capacity. I mean, in all my years of being an MVP, of course, there were a couple of times people seeked me out uh, because I was an MVP, but most of the time, being an MVP gave me other benefits, not direct professional benefits. Yeah, but I think you put it well. So, okay, let's just see.
hmm
Cool. I thought I saw something interesting there.
and thanks for the compliment, Paula Picks.
Yeah,
Paula,
yeah.
thank you.
Paula
Yeah.
says, don't forget to like this amazing live stream with two of the best minds in data and
Mm,
Excel. Yes.
mm,
That is so generous of you, Paula. Thank you.
yes, appreciate
And
that.
feel free to like it. If you have not been to Oz's channel,
Mhm.
please go in and check it out. It's Excel on fire.
Yep,
And feel free to subscribe, watch some of his videos. I
yeah,
guess more than subscription, watching the content, learning something new, and then going out to the real world and doing something
right,
awesome. That's really what
right.
matters most
Yes,
for both of us. So
that's right.
yeah, do that.
Yeah, because a big
Mm,
thing is when I had a regular job as an analyst, I was always thinking about the people who have to live with what I do or don't do. It
mm,
was not about, ooh, look at this nested if with a choose in it. And then I did the control shift enter and now there's curly brackets and woo, they don't
mm.
care.
Yeah.
They're like, my package still showed up late and I'm mad. I don't care
Yeah.
about your curly brackets, you know?
Yeah, so that's
Yeah,
that's really, I think, the key difference there. Like, if you want to be good and successful, then always think the people that you're helping, and then see what matters to them.
yes,
That's
always.
really, at the end of the day, what matters. Whether
That's
you're
it.
an MVP or not is extreme secondary, in my opinion.
They don't care
Yeah.
if you sitting there in your cubicle with your socks and shoes off and you're counting
Mm.
one, two, three, four, five, six. They don't care. Is it
Yeah.
right? That's and briefly, Ron Diaz. So how do you get to MVP status? Briefly, okay.
Mm.
So um, you got to be nominated,
Mm.
and the nomination. So if I have nominated some people, and they've shown consistent sharing of knowledge, and so they show savvy with Excel and the newer things with Excel. cranking out a bunch of content is not enough. Like if you're just doing, oh, here's another conditional formatting video. Well, there's already so much of that. But like, how are you doing with Power BI, um, Power Query, M Code, the dynamic arrays, that kind of stuff, and genuinely, consistently sharing your knowledge? Okay, then somebody like me would nominate you, and then there's an online form that then goes to the mysterious committee,
Mm.
and we still don't know what happens, where they are, if there's even real people. I don't know. But it could be several months or a year. And I've had some candidates start to get worried and give up. And I'll say, I don't know. I haven't heard anything yet. And then, boom, maybe 9 months later, there's the you're now an MVP. But the community contribution is the main thing because a lot of people do have the skill.
Mm.
And the community contribution can be a YouTube channel, a blog, speaking at meetup groups, hosting a meetup group, somehow where you are sharing knowledge and not just trying to get people in a sales funnel kind of sharing knowledge.
Yeah. Okay, I'm just putting some answers to questions that
Oh,
are
okay.
already there on the blog article or
Oh,
videos for
yeah.
some of them. But that's yeah. And another thing, I think, I mean, when Oz mentioned how to become an MVP, it might have been clear or not, but MVP is a retrospective award. What it means is you are awarded MVP for the things that you did in the past 1 year. So it's not like a you are an MVP for the future year, you are an MVP
Correct.
for the past year. So you first contribute, you first make your mark on the community, and then Microsoft gives you that recognition. So this again falls back to the basic thing, like why you want to do it, how you're going to be helpful in the tech community. So think about those things. Those are like really what matters. If you have got a drive to be this person who wants to learn and share, that's really what matters. You will become. So you don't really study to become an MVP. You just do things that you always do, and
Yeah.
then Microsoft comes up and then says, hey, you're doing good work, here is your MVP award. So you're
Yeah.
not really working towards that. It's something that happens as a byproduct of your work.
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
So there's a
Yeah.
question about fuzzy lookup.
Oh, who's that
Surya.
from? Oh,
Surya.
okay. Yes. Yeah.
Ooh, that's some exciting stuff. Do you want
Yes,
us to
you.
jump on that? I've been
Yes,
talking
yes.
a
Have you got like a file that you want to show, or do you want me to make up something, or just?
I've got I've
Yeah,
got
yeah.
files. I've got
Do you want
stuff.
to add it on the stream? I will
Should,
put it up there.
well, not yet, but I'm gonna ooh, let's see. Yeah, I just gotta look it up here. Yes, you tap dance or sing a song or something while I pull
Oh,
this
okay.
up.
I
Yes,
got
yes.
some fun entertainment planned. In fact,
All
I was
right.
trying this. I'm gonna briefly remove myself from the stream, and then when I come.
Oh my gosh. Come on, where'd it go? Oh my gosh. Am I the only one in here now? Did he leave?
I didn't leave. I was trying to do something. Yeah, yeah,
Okay. All
yeah,
right. All
yeah.
right. All right.
I
I'm
couldn't
just
really do it. I don't know what I think I was trying to.
right. Okay. Let me see.
Yeah,
Okay. Um,
I think I'll just
I
give up on
have
that.
okay. All right. So I can share my screen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you want to share it there? I'll
Yeah.
add it to the stream.
Okay. So let me first explain. Okay. So fuzzy matching is this process where you're trying to get matches that aren't exactly matches.
Yep.
So if you have like Charles Thomas and then Charles C. period Thomas and then Charles Thomas comma DDS,
Mm.
and you understand those are all three the same person, and
Mm.
somehow they got to get matched. um if without fuzzy matching, you would have to clean that up in order to get the matches. You'd have to do something. But fuzzy matching will allow you to do matches and set the percentage closeness. The default is 80%.
Yep.
If a match is 80%, then it'll make the match. But you can put it down to, you know,
Mm.
5%, and then you start getting crazy stuff. So
Yep.
here, this is what I'm gonna show.
So you probably need to add that on the StreamYard as share, and then that comes up
Yep,
here.
share screen. Okay. Um, oh, I gotta select the screen. Okay, I'm gonna screen one. Allow. Okay, so can you see my screen now?
Yes, I can. I will add this now. Ooh, yes, cool. Okay, let's talk about fuzzy matching here.
Okay.
All yours.
So let's see. We've got Charlotte.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's see. L2609X. Okay, I'm looking for one that okay, like Lewis.
Mm.
Let's see. JC1471H. And then this has
Mm.
no hyphen in it.
Yep.
Okay? Yeah, right. So this is the kind of thing that we're dealing with. And then this, it's got a colon space, and then this one starts with an L space.
Mm.
Okay, right. So now I did the fuzzy match, and let's boost this up so everybody can see without their glasses. Okay, so dash, this
Mm.
was matched. Okay, so that's an exact match. Okay, let's find
Mm.
one. Let's see. Okay, this,
Mm.
that was matched at 80%.
Yeah.
Yep.
How did you even get here? Like, what did you
Okay.
use?
Okay.
Oh, you used Power Query. Okay.
Yeah, this is Power
Yeah.
Query,
Mm.
right? Okay, so we got the leads, okay, and then the assignments.
Mm.
All right. And then let's see. Here's the default. And what happens is, okay, it's a merge, but then I check
Mm.
box this to get the fuzzy matching options. And then I left this blank because I wanted the default 80%,
Mm.
right? Okay, so now then I expand and then I see whatever matches were
Yep.
happening. Okay. But then notice this colon hyphen 3777T, it didn't get a match, right? Even though there
Mm.
is a match for it. Okay. But now let's look at this. Let's look at the 95%. Okay,
Yeah.
so 95%, this loaded 14 rows at 80% and 14 rows at 90%,
Mm.
95%. But let's look at 30%. Okay. Uh so we've got this. No, see, look at this. This is
Mm.
wrong. That's wrong,
Yeah. So
right?
it matched 4406 with 4446E.
Right. And
Yeah,
then
now C
this
is
is
missing. Mm.
right. That's
Mm.
right. This is right. This is right.
Mm.
Um and so let's see.
Yeah.
This has no match.
Mm.
Um, and then this matched, even though yeah, the A was missing. Okay, so that's okay.
Mm.
All right. But now we got 18 matches instead of 14. And then what happens? Ooh, look at this. At 22%. Okay. Well, here. Ah, come on. Okay. So at 22%,
Mm.
that matched up.
Yeah. So
Yep.
same thing got matched up to two different things as well. That's another thing, isn't it?
Yep.
So
Yep.
Mavis
See,
is
all
matched up
three of
actually
these.
for three. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
That's pretty cool. Okay.
So so it can help a lot, but
Mm.
it's another one of those things where you gotta watch your results,
Mm.
and
Yeah.
then maybe even do this several times, and
Mm.
do the 55% and see what happens, and maybe you can separate out the good stuff and then
Mm.
separate out the bad stuff, and then just manually fix the bad stuff. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah. So.
That's cool. Okay, I want to show something as well,
Okay.
because this is a problem that I had a while ago. So to give you to give the background, a couple of years ago, I was doing a consulting project with one of the government ministries here, and we had to look at employee job titles for about 4,000 people, and and then put them into broad categories of five or six different jobs. There's people all over the place, but we don't know that from the job title there is some sort of an attribute that we can take and then use it. So for example, you can have one person saying analyst project, another person would be analyst Sydney, but I know that they're both analysts. The job title is different. So in a way it's kind of like fuzzy matching, but it's also that we are not trying to match with everything. We're trying to see which one would yeah, you guess the same thing. So I wrote an article on my blog as well. I'll just quickly put it up there. Feel free to check it out. You can google this as well. So here is the illustration that I was just talking about. All of these three jobs should match up to analyst. And I put a video on my channel as well. So this is where I used Power Query. I didn't use the fuzzy matching one. Instead, what I used is a word finding mechanism. I'm looking to see if you are an analyst. I'm looking to see if you are a senior analyst. I'm looking to see if you are a consultant. So I got a list of things. Then I'm just seeing which one are you, and then the first one that you have, I am finding. So it uses some very interesting Power Query approaches. So check this one out. Probably I would say start with fuzzy matching, because that way you don't have to think about the M code. But if you ever are in a position where the fuzzy match is not working out for you, this is another option that you could try. It uses the, I think, list.accumulate or something like that in Power Query, which is a fascinating function. I never used it before, and that was the first time I used it. I was like, okay, this is exciting. I'm going to share this on the blog.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Man, I just noticed something. See,
Mm,
I had this custom made, and the idea was to have the two arms a different color.
mm.
Yeah, and the hood
Yeah.
is a
Oh,
split.
well, okay. I didn't
Yeah,
realize that, it's one of those custom made things from Oz.
yeah.
I remember your hoodies and your t-shirts that
Not,
you would always say, especially whenever there is a summit happening.
hmm.
Oz would say, "Hey, I'm making this shirt. Do you guys want it?" I regret not buying it when I had the chance, because this was all before COVID. Oz was
Right.
saying in the email list that when we were having an MVP summit, I have got these things, and I thought, oh, I'll buy it next time.
Uh-huh.
Guess what? There is no next time. This is it. We haven't met in person since COVID started, so
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. but we
Okay,
first
cool.
met in San Jose.
Mm. Yeah, that
Yeah,
was years ago. I was trying to
yeah.
think, was it in San Jose or we met somewhere else? But it's good that I had the same memory, but because we only meet at a conference
Right.
somewhere once every few years, those are all. But we do collaborate quite often. So for
Yeah.
me, there is more than physical memory. There is a lot of digital memories, like
Yeah.
emails or doing something together.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yep. Yep. Met at
Okay,
conferences. Met in Amsterdam a few times. Yeah.
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 Okay, let's see.
Hey.
Do you want to pick another one from that list, or do you want to look at
Okay.
something here?
Okay. Oh. Well. Let's see.
While while you're looking at that, I want to just take up one of these. Jeffrey says any artificial intelligence capabilities in Excel. Surprisingly, yes, Excel is getting pretty good at this. I don't say good as in like good in getting the correct answer, but at least good in
Thank you.
adding the features for you. So I'll show one or two just for fun, and then we will.
Well, you showed the flash fill.
Yeah, the flash fill is kind of like a an artificial intelligence feature. Another one that they have added. This is some data that. Don't
So
worry about the data. It doesn't really matter what data it is.
I,
So
I,
here has
I,
got
I
some
think I
boxes
think I
and
know what
people.
you're gonna do. Okay, let's
Yeah,
see. Let's see what you.
yeah.
Okay.
So especially when you're dealing with artificial intelligence stuff, whether in Excel, Power BI, or some other newfangled software that you're trying, you should always have like a huge jar of table salt next to you, and then take a pinch every time you see something on the screen, because a lot of what computers think interesting or useful could be just plain obvious to human beings. They are not that good as of now. They probably will get good eventually, but at this time, they're still mildly amusing, if anything. So, this analyze data button is something that they have added. You just select any cell, click on that, and
Can
this
I
is going to
say?
run some AI
Can I say?
analysis on your data.
I need to say, look, if anybody
Hmm.
has any kids around, don't let the kids see this, because this
Hmm.
stuff is awful. I think. But go
Yeah.
ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, it, not of caution, because some things are hugely time saving in my opinion, because especially if you want to build this exact pivot, rather than you building Excel doing this for you and then you just click on this insert pivot table, is a huge time saver. But the chances are it may not even come to that. It might come to something else, so we'll have to
Right.
see.
Yes.
But this is an artificial intelligence. For example, it says COF 695 XLXX appears most often. It might be useful information. It might be, yeah, it appears often because that person is our most busiest salesman, right? But
Hmm.
Excel doesn't know that context. It will just find that. So these are
No.
this is one feature that is interesting. The flash fill is another one. Within Power Query, you have got fuzzy matching. It's not really artificial intelligence, but it kind of is. It's all rule based, really, to be honest. Here, you can also talk to the data and ask questions. So instead of Excel analyzing the data, you can ask a question like percentage of boxes. I have never tried this, so I'm just gonna try
I've
for.
tried it. I've tried it. I've made a video out of it, and this is the stuff you don't want your kids to see because this is
Yeah.
awful.
Yeah, so it's not good. I was expecting to see a single percent. What it gave me was some weird graph that shows the distribution. I guess I have no idea what this is. Yeah,
See.
so
And then and I wrote about this in the book that Bill Jelen and I just wrote. It is now available in PDF form as of yesterday, and we hope to have the physical books next month. But I did write a section about AI and machine learning. How what does it do? It gives us the job of babysitting it.
mm,
And an example is your email inbox. How many things wind up in the spam folder that shouldn't be there? How many things should wind up in the spam folder but if you made a filter, then you're gonna mess up some other things. You This stuff gives us a job, is what it does. Um,
Yeah.
a person can, if I asked you something vague, you can ask me for clarification. These machines cannot ask for clarification. They just go and do something, or they just say to hell with it, and they just give you an error message.
Yeah. Yeah. So they're not very good. I would say probably the Q&A feature in Power BI is better. It does a better job of at least identifying what you want. The AI feature in Excel is probably they're not using the same engine for whatever reason. Um, but I have had better experience of using Q&A in
Okay.
Power BI rather than here.
Okay.
Okay, there is your
Yeah.
book.
Yep.
Congratulations on the book launch, by the
Thank
way.
you.
I know it kind of came up just, was it yesterday or day before that you said the PDF is now ready?
It might have been the day before.
Yeah, so May
Yeah.
25th. So yeah, a couple of days now.
Yeah.
So definitely worth checking out, especially if you are the victim of bad data, which we all
Oh,
are at one point or another.
that's right. That's right.
If there's one thing that unites all of us across
Yeah.
the world and different types of hoodies that we are all wearing,
Right.
it's the bad data.
But you know
Yeah.
something is, I had an interesting conversation because I like to go to casino and play roulette sometimes, and
Hmm.
I wound up talking with this guy, and he's an engineer who deals with, excuse me, AI and machine learning, and he acknowledged my concerns about how it is, but he said in 10 years it's going to be unbelievable.
Mm.
And then my question or concern is, but what do we lose in between?
Mm.
Somebody who's gotten fired or in trouble because of over trusting some AI thing that's been
Mm.
marketed as an this omniscient entity.
Mm.
You know, you can't tell the person, say, yeah, you fired today, but in 10 years you wouldn't
Mm.
have been fired. You know, it would be working great. No, 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 no.
Yeah.
And so that's what I feel like AI needs to come be more honest about. Get these marketers out of the way. And then I'm concerned about the engineers who see this as fun.
Mm.
But if I get in trouble, I don't care about somebody's fun or some marketer hiding these weaknesses. So we got to know these things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually saw a tweet yesterday. I was trying to pull that up. Yeah, this is the one. Um, I'm gonna put this on the screen. So this is really what AI is. I studied AI as part of my undergrad work all the way back in 2002, 2003. I built AI
Wow.
models, machine learning models, and all sorts of stuff back then. And uh, anything good requires good quality data. So most people think, you put data in, do some AI thing, and then something
Ooh.
comes up. But the reality is there has to be a strong foundation of data, like quality data coming in, quality algorithms being applied with careful curation and hand holding in order to get anything meaningful out of the system. Otherwise, it's all garbage in, garbage out. So, yeah, most of the time we think AI is one box, but it is really not just one box. It has so many different things. And this is why even the highly technical companies like Google or Apple or Microsoft, they still struggle to come up with tangible results for some of the most
Mm,
obvious things. Like,
mm,
you got voice recognition software all over the world,
yeah.
but the sad thing is half of the world's population voice they cannot recognize. You say
Yeah.
something and then it'll interpret the whole another thing altogether. uh,
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is really, yeah.
Yeah, this stuff needs to come with a
Mm.
big old sticker. And then I think about, when they talk about the self-driving cars, I mean, it's fascinating, but it leads me to appreciate how complex a human being is.
Yeah.
And then there's things like, okay, how do you tell a car that this is a plastic bag blowing through the street and not a cat?
Yeah.
And right. And then I start thinking, there's a dead cat and there's a dead skunk.
Mm.
Now, you do not want to drive over a dead skunk. No.
Yeah.
But can his car smell that? How is it going?
All right, if you just join the stream for whatever reason and you're thinking, why are these two guys talking about dead skunks and dead cats? We didn't, that's not the topic of the stream, by the way. We just got here thanks to the artificial intelligence.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
See
All
what
right.
artificial intelligence does? It leads you to
Mm,
some wild venues, wild.
mm.
Okay, all right. What's next? We're gonna straighten up. Going.
Yeah. So there's a few more questions. Leo Inquisitive says, please guide how to extract data from PDF where the required data is a few rows above the find and match result cell. I'll take this up. So essentially, you're going to be doing a lot of surgery in Power Query. So if you're thinking my find result is going to be on row number 7, but I always want 3 rows above data, right? So then what you would do is, I'm going to give you just the approach, because unless we look at the data, I can't give you proper approach. A lot depends on how your data is and how it will change. But you would probably want to first extract all the data from PDF, then add maybe an index column that will uniquely identify each row. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4 row numbers added. And at that point, you then use some sort of find replace, find to find which row has your data. And then from there, you got the row number, and then you work backwards from there to subtract 3 rows or 4 rows to locate the data. So it's a little bit of breaking that process on paper. How would you do it manually, and then figure out how am I gonna teach Power Query to do those same steps for me across multiple files. All of this will break if something changes in your data. So you'll have to think, it's like playing 3D chess. You have to think ahead of how your data is going to misbehave and then capture a majority of scenarios. I wouldn't worry too much about everything, but at least being aware is where you want to be. Then you can think about them, fix them if needed. Otherwise, at least tell people that, hey, this is only going to give you results 85% of the time. If this happens, then this will break.
Right. And then there's the 3D chess analogy, and then I think
Mm.
about writing. And you got to study a bull before you get on it, and then you get on it, and then you don't want to be right on your butt. You got to be kind of up, and you got to have your hand in there, and you got to be watching and paying attention and anticipate. And then there's the falling off. You know,
Yeah.
there's all of that. You gotta be prepared. Is what big
Mm.
thing.
Cool. I just want to give a shout out to Jake. I think he's been addressing some of the comments. Thank you, brother. And yeah, and
Jake.
someone says this, Chandoo, you're Ambi from Aparchit movie. I don't know how much, I know, Oz, that you listen to some of the Indian music. I'm not sure if you ever heard about the
Mm-mm,
Aparchit, but
mm-mm.
let's talk about the Indian songs that you hear, because what music do you like
What music do I like? The
from
the
India?
the the Hummer song.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's a good one.
Yes, it is.
I hope you're
Hummer.
not having a jam session, but that's a very good song. I think that movie came up around 95, 96.
Ah,
So when I was a
okay.
little kid, and this is the time when there is no concept of a personal music device, like no iPad, no Walkman. Probably Walkmans existed in United States, but back in India when I was growing up, I went to a boarding school. So
Mm,
our only source of music is whenever we had like a school festival or something, then the school would arrange for some huge loudspeakers, like big music boxes that
hmm.
they'll rent and put them on the near the festival grounds, and then they'll play the music. So this song would be on repeat whenever that happened, because people would just listen to it, they'll dance to it.
Yeah.
uh, and even
Wow.
now I listen to some of the songs. I mean, that album Bombay had many beautiful tracks in it, some really deeply soulful tracks. Even today, like, I listen to them all the time.
Wow.
Mm,
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. I've
mm,
listened to a lot. So let me see. I'm gonna okay, allow. Okay, so Perinde, there was a Perinde. Yes, this one.
mm,
Wow, I love this
mm.
song. Love it.
Cool.
Yeah. The Hummer
I'm
song.
gonna put your screen there so it shows up.
Oh,
Oh,
oh, okay.
no,
Okay.
this one, yeah. Oh, okay,
Right,
Oz in
right,
India. You
right.
got a
Yeah.
Spotify list. That's pretty cool.
Yes, yes, yes. Yes, this Perinde song.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow. Yes. The Hummer song and two versions,
Mm.
right? Um and let's see, Papu Can't Dance.
Oh, yeah, yeah. That's a pretty good one.
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
So
Ajnabi is
all
a
of
good one. Oh,
which
these are
one?
all classics that you have got there.
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
Yeah.
Um, so I've cultivated it myself. This isn't like some generic thing. This is one that I pulled in. So which one did you point out?
I
Oh,
was talking about mm,
why this
why this
Calaverity?
Kolavaridi.
Why
Uh,
this
th-
Calaverity?
that song, believe it or not,
Uh,
it came up when we had our kids, like as small babies. And when the kids are really small, they're quite fussy with, like, feeding time is like really hard. So we would play that song and my kids will be like, and we
ah,
just shove the food into their mouths, like, hey, eat it.
wow, wow.
Yeah.
Yes, this soup
Mm.
song. Yeah, that's
Oh
a
yeah,
good
soup
song.
song, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So these
Yeah,
are
oh,
the
wow.
ones that I
Mm.
really have liked. And Faraz G, he has
Mm.
suggested some things to me. Um, but
Yeah.
there's the one, yeah, yeah, Baba Jiki Booty. Where is that one at on here? It should be here. That's one of my favorites. But yeah, this is my list, and I would listen to it a lot.
Mm.
Stop sharing. So when I
Yeah.
was writing my book,
Mm.
um, I did nothing. November, December, the first half of January, nothing except writing a book, sitting in a cigar lounge, and had this on my headphones.
Mm.
And yeah, yeah, this is beautiful, man. I tell you, Indian music feels so good, and Nigerian music. Yeah, I've been
Mm.
listening to that a lot lately. Yeah, but you know these songs, then, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we listen to that. I mean, it nowadays our music listening is like two different worlds. Both Joe and I, we like to listen to a lot more Indian music, but the kids are now, they're almost teenagers. They're 12, and so our Spotify playlist looks very weird because they listen to more like the songs that the kids nowadays listen to.
Mm-hmm.
Their flavor of the month changes every month. So
Mm-hmm.
when you go to the liked songs, because it's the same Spotify account on the TV for all of us, you'll see that it looks like a mismatch. If a machine learning is trying to predict what we're gonna listen next, it'll go cuckoo. It'll be like, okay, I give up.
Yeah, yeah. Or it'll give you something bizarre. It's
Yeah.
like, how did you get there? So Jake asked me to share the
Mm,
playlist, so I put the link there.
mm,
Um, but yeah, this is so. Do we want to? I don't know how
mm.
much time we've got, but do we want to
Um,
talk about? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, go
About
ahead. No,
three,
you were
four
saying
hours.
something.
We got like 3 or 4 hours left.
Not really. Usually I try to stop at around 2 hours mark, so we can go
Okay.
for another 15, 20 minutes, and then we'll
Okay.
start slowly wrapping it up.
Yeah.
Let's
So
see.
yeah,
Uh,
we could talk about this, becoming an analyst, because that
yeah.
question comes up a
Mm,
lot. And
yeah.
I've got my friend Robin Hunt is in Alabama, and she's got a
Mm,
program, and I've done some guest presentations there. And her groups, her cohorts seem to be in two different chunks.
mm,
Young people just out of college trying to be analysts, and then
mm,
older people trying to change careers to be analysts.
mm.
So,
Yeah.
wow, it's fascinating to see so many people with this question. So,
Yeah.
yeah, so let's dig into it.
Yeah. Do you want to share any like obvious pathways, or do you want me to tackle that?
How about you go ahead and start?
Okay. So I'm gonna start the question by saying how an experienced person can transition into data analytics, because that is more of my experience. That's how I got into data analytics. I mean,
Mhm.
I knew that deep in my mind I was always a data person, but I that's not how I started my career. When I started, I was a software developer, and then I later went and started working as a business analyst, so more like a business consultant that will go and talk to companies and pitch them IT solutions. So I would go to insurance companies, I would go to financial services companies, and I'll say, hey, we're going to build you a claims processing system. We're going to build you a policy quotation system or whatever that is, but never really doing the actual work of building that stuff, because that's the technology team's responsibility. Whereas for me, my responsibility is just uh, creating an overview of the solution, figuring out how much it would cost for us to build such a thing, what sort of effort and timelines we are looking, and do an overall project management kind of thing. But in that process, because I was using a lot of Excel, that's how I really got into Excel and started my website and everything. But that's another story. So but when I was doing that, and then later when we moved to New Zealand in 2016, I transitioned into a data analyst role. Again, my experience is probably not as relatable if you have, let's say, worked as a mechanic and you want to now get into data analytics, or if you have worked as a builder and now want to get into data analytics. Then you will find my experience as a little bit different, because I come from technology background. It's just that instead of one tech, I'm using another tech. But the general approach that I tell people nowadays, and the one that worked very well for me, is because you have got experience, try to lean on to that strengths and experiences that you have built, rather than ditch that ship altogether and go into something new. So let's say you have worked as an automobile engineer, or you have worked as an accountant, or you have worked as a building manager, whatever may be that experience. You, after 5, 6, 10, 12 years of that, you would have built so many connections, you would have built so many life lessons and experiences, you would have built so much of real world perspective and ideas, and you would kind of have built that intuition that this works, this doesn't work. So when you lean on to that, and when you go and find opportunities in the data world that are relevant or capitalize on your strengths, you have a great chance of succeeding. So if I am taking an example of an automobile engineer and they want to become a data analyst, what I would tell them is find a data analysis position within your industry first. Okay, you may not like the industry, you might even say, oh, I don't want to look at another automobile in my life, but that is still fine. I mean, unless you cannot physically be in the same room where the cars are manufactured anymore in your life, because you feel that will frustrate you or stress you out so much, then you got to get out. But if you can stand it, if you think this is a good mix, then go and find a data analyst position in your company, and then make a strong application. Tell them why you are a good candidate, show the passion, show them some examples of how you can contribute in that. Because you got the experience, it will be an easy win for you. And then once you gain some experience in that, then you can go and get into a data analysis position or data science or engineer, whatever might be the position, completely in a different industry. But don't throw the baby with the bathwater kind of thing. There are things that
Mm.
you may not like in your current job, but there are a lot of things that you would have built up if you have got some strong work experience. So that's the obvious main exit that you have to take. You miss that
Right.
and you try to look somewhere else, then you're probably gonna find a long winded route to the data analysis.
Yeah. Oh boy. Um, this is always a tough one. Uh, because there's so many questions that are related to this. Because there is, how do I get started and how do I get good with Excel? And then somebody even asked, how do I know when I'm ready to teach Excel?
Mm.
So, so my path to Excel was from customer service and constantly dealing with things that wound up being a data problem. And so I would bring stuff into Excel and try to figure it out and then slowly learned more of the functions and stuff. I wish I knew VLOOKUP way earlier than I did. I wish I knew how to nest function formulas way
Mm.
earlier than I did. Um, so that was a lot of me eventually looking for ways to put something into Excel and model it because there are so many things Excel does, and that's a challenge too. Is there's different types of analysts. There was one guy I worked with. Every time I walked past his cubicle, he was making bubble charts. You know,
Yeah.
I was a commissions analyst. Mine was taking all of the transaction data, peeling it down across the sales team, making corrections, and then writing a whole lot of wild formulas to match the compensation plan and constantly checking that thing to make
Mm.
sure that any kind of exceptions weren't messing up everything else. And so along the way, learning about good habits and building checks in my workbook, something that'll let me know that something is off.
Yeah.
Um, so that was my path, and how somebody would get started. Um, Now I do know somebody who's a photographer. She took a workshop that I did, just like a 2 hour, 3 hour workshop.
Mm.
And fortunately, she had this conceptual mind to where she started using Excel in all kind of ways, not just in her photography business, but also she and her husband were selling their house in Chicago and moving to California. So they started managing the sale of the house and the
Mm.
preparation and stuff. And then she started managing their move in Excel. So, like when was studying Russian, I would stand at a bus stop and think about how would I say this in Russian?
Mm.
So now if you want to get good with Excel, think about what can you put in there? Um, Songs and the
Yep.
length of the songs and how long, add up the times. And now you got to deal with times in
Mm.
Excel, those challenges. But it takes to get and I make a distinction between being good with Excel
Mm.
and being good in your role using Excel.
Yeah.
Very different because you can be the grant writer for a nonprofit and you use a lot of Excel. You're going to
Mm.
be good at grant writing. But then there's getting good with Excel. Now you've got to see a whole lot of things over a long period of time. You got to see some accounting problems and the photographer's business and what is she dealing with. My first project was a guy, he's a photographer, and he would quote a price for a picture, but he was always off with the price of the frame.
Mm.
He knew how much, oh, you want this image and you want it 18 by 30. Okay, I know the paper and the chemicals and stuff. And then I take it over there and I think they're going to charge me $80 for the frame. And then it comes out to 105. Ah, we took a bunch of receipts from his framer and figured out the formula that they use to calculate for the frames. And it was not that hard.
Yeah.
But but we had to think about it, right? How am I going to go about this? And okay, let's gather up all these receipts. Um, but it was seeing that a grant
Mm.
writer, that grant writer is never going to have to figure out something like that,
Yeah.
right? And so, fortunately, I've been able to see a lot of things and work with all kinds of people.
Mm.
Um, if I develop something and this person knows pivot tables and they can kind of write formulas, that's different from somebody who's scared of Excel. And so
Mm.
now I have to build in all kind of extra heavy protections, preventions. I might even have to give them some buttons that have VBA behind them so that,
Mm.
that because they're scared. I don't want to type over something. I don't want to, try to tweak a formula and then mess it up and I can't get back to where I was. Okay. All of that I feel like has given me this rich foundation for being able to work with Excel. But it's taken a long time. And somebody asked, how long does it take before you're any good with Excel? And I'd say like 31 years.
That's
So
it. You
if you
scared everyone out.
well, no, if they're 50, now they're scared because now they got to live to be 81. But if they're 25, it's okay.
I got
But
hope.
but no, but it don't take that
Nah.
long. Because and I can only everybody's gonna
Mm.
be different, of course.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
I can say that when I've started to feel kind of comfortable,
Mm.
um, it was maybe 5, 6, 7 years because I
Yeah.
had to get deep experience in different
Mm.
things. Also, what was a turning point was when I realized that people weren't hiring me because I knew everything. They hired me because I might be able to do in an hour what they might never figure out.
Mm.
It might take me a week to come up with a solution, and their alternative is never.
Mm.
So that took a lot of pressure off of me when I said, okay, now the choose function. Like no client has come in there and said, okay, choose function. All right, custom field in a pivot table. Can you do that? Ah, can you nest a choose inside of some ifs inside of some product? No, they don't do that.
Yeah,
They don't do
exactly.
that.
So this is where I think yeah, you need to, when you are asking a question, how do I become good in Excel? I think that in itself is a wrong question for most of us. Like if you are writing an Excel book, obviously you have to be good in Excel, but a majority of us are not going to write a book or make a YouTube channel or teach a course. A majority of us are going to use Excel to do something. So a better question to ask would be, how do I become a better accountant? How do I become a better building manager? How do I become a better administrator? How do I become a human resources person? And then work backwards and see which parts of Excel, email, PowerPoint, Word, or I don't know, handwriting that you need to be good in that. Because all of these, the end point is what matters. Probably not even job title. You might be thinking, how do I become a better person? How do I be a better dad or whatever? And then work backwards, because that way you will remove a lot of noise. If you're thinking, how do I learn the choose some if some product X lookup concoction, it's gonna create a lot of headache. You will end up learning things that are irrelevant or
Yeah,
not the best ones.
and I'm
Yes.
glad that you're
Mm.
mentioning this because I answered the question from terms of like me making a career off of Excel.
Mm.
But right, most Excel users are not making a career off of just Excel. They
Yeah.
are the grant writers, are the accountants, are the warehouse manager, are the store manager, are the shift supervisor. And so they've got to know those jobs and all the stuff around that. Um and but then yeah, I get the question, how do you get good with Excel? And so I treat it like this person might want to become a consultant and be able to go anywhere.
Mm.
And so then it does take time to get a good foundation and see a whole lot of stuff, not just your
Mm.
thing, but yes, if you are the financial planner, the grant writer, the shift supervisor, um, then you are focused on how can I be a better grant writer
Yeah.
and make better use of Excel for what I need to do.
Mm. That's good. I think that's a very good coverage of how to learn Excel, how to get into this. For those of you who are still not finding the best answer, like how do I become a data analyst? I haven't still gotten all the things.
Right.
I am actually I'm currently researching a video for a data analyst
Yeah.
roadmap. So that video will come on the channel sometime later. But feel free
Yeah.
to search it up. There'll be some things that you will find.
Yeah.
Someone says hello to you, Oz,
Right.
Claudia. Uh,
Claudia Horschel. And then
oh,
and then there was a Janice saying I look like Morgan Freeman in Shawshank. I still haven't seen that movie. I haven't, but you had me think about something else. Is
mm,
I can't stress enough how different analysts are.
mm,
Um, yeah, where I'm dealing with compensation plans. Somebody
mm,
else is dealing with the company's finances in a certain way, to where he's got to make all these bubble charts.
yeah,
I heard from other people who said that they work in a huge company that's got teams of analysts that just sit and
mm,
do forecasts. And that's all. That's only that. No bubble charts, no legal stuff to deal with, just forecasts.
mm,
Um, there's all kinds of different analysts. And
yeah,
but then one thing I want to point out, I talked a lot with somebody who was frustrated with his team of analysts. He said that they were not curious
mm,
because and he dealt with people and their electric bills
mm,
and people who would fall behind on their electric bills, and then people who would fall behind and then just disappear.
mm,
It's like their life was completely unraveling, it seems, and so they just stopped paying their rent, start paying the electric bill, just
mm,
disappeared. And so he was saying that there seemed to be certain trends in the data when you could tell if somebody is about to be one of these fall behind and disappear kind of people. But his analysts, they would just do what they were there to do.
yeah,
And that was one big thing about my wow, this is good to tell you about. when my director suggested that I apply for the commissions analyst job, I said, I don't know Excel that well, and that's in the accounting department. I'm not an accountant. He
mm,
said, well, it's not an accounting job, it's just housed in accounting. And they can teach you Excel. What they
mm,
really need, somebody who will get up off their ass and dig when the numbers look funny. That's where it is.
mm. Yeah.
Because I saw so much stuff. Because you got like State Farm insurance, and then somebody will put State Farm with no space in the middle, and then maybe INS period. So now you got State Farm, INS, State Farm insurance, and then State Farm.
Mm,
So now somebody's got to have the wherewithal to see all of this stuff going on and get this stuff cleaned up before paying out the wrong commissions to people. And now you got to go back and tell them, you know,
mm.
we paid you $2,000 too much. You over
Yeah.
here, we owe you $5,000. No, 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 no. And so I remember the lady interviewing me, and she's talking about something is la la la. Say, oh, that's just a pivot table.
Mm,
Pivot table? I can show you a pivot table. They just needed to be convinced that, oh, I'd see somebody's sales were like $60,000 consistently. And then all of a sudden I see $20,000. That don't look right. What's
yeah.
going on? And so then I
Yeah.
found out that somebody was writing off old debts. But based on the compensation plan, those old debts should not have been leaking into my commissions reports.
Yeah.
That's what made me a good analyst, not
Mm.
because I walked in there knowing how to make a pivot table.
Yeah, I think that's the key bit there. I think curiosity, because if you are going to be in the data profession as a analyst, engineers, a scientist, or whatever else you call yourself, and if you are naturally not curious,
Mm,
and if you are not willing to ask questions, if you are not willing to experiment, then essentially you will not be highly successful in the job, because the whole point of looking at data is not to look at data, it's to ask questions and be inquisitive, be open, be transparent, and be willing to
yep.
explore. So yeah, that's the real bit. Once you have got that nailed down, everything else in Excel, Power BI, Power Query, whatever else you're using, it's like matrix. Once you see the things, then things become clear. Until you close your mind and you're not looking at it, you will miss out on the picture. So yeah.
And yeah, Joseph is asking, did I ever
Mm,
find Victor Momo? No, he's
mm,
found me a few times. I mean, that's how he operates, the enigmatic Victor
mm.
Momo. But you just said something that I liked. Hopefully it'll come back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
about these tools.
mm,
A big thing. People picking at you and asking, are the numbers right? How do you know? Because they don't like what you just came up with. I
mm,
thought my commission should be twice as much as this. And then I gotta look and take ownership of it.
mm,
Did I do? Is my math wrong and I do need to correct this? Or, oh, here's what happened is that transaction that you were expecting the more money, that came in at a certain date, and that's going to show up next month.
mm,
Or um, I don't see it. I don't see what you're talking about.
mm,
People ask questions and they will pick and they will get mad. And there was one sales assistant who called a
mm,
meeting with me and my director to show that he calculated the commissions and they're way higher than what Oz calculated. And he did this 2 months in a row. And my director finally said, "Look, we're open to being questioned, but we're not doing this
Mm.
again." And what he and it came down to an issue of he's pulling data to from a different table in the
Mm.
database.
Yeah.
He's including stuff. He's not peeling out taxes and shipping costs and just stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that kind of stuff goes along with being an analyst. The tool is the smallest of your problems. Bigger
Yeah.
problem is you're wrong. You're wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. There's so much more than the learning which where the buttons are or which formula to use, because that's all secondary. Like the first part is navigating the waters. I want to
Mhm.
take something light because I think we've gotten a bit heavy with the whole
Heavy.
politic of
Heavy.
data, I guess. Uh, Janet says, "Who is the famous YouTuber MVP you also follow?" Now, I want to take this two questions. Who is the famous YouTuber or YouTubers that you follow? We'll come to the MVP question later. I think we did a lot more Excel and Power BI for a session. So we'll first look at the general thing. Which YouTube channels do you normally follow, Oz?
Um, there's yours, there's Leila Garani.
No, no, not the data ones, but in general, like what do you watch for fun or amusement?
Okay. Um, hmm. Wow. Okay. That is a good question.
Yeah,
I will actually go and look. Uh,
cool.
oh, there's Sammy the Bull Gravano. He's
Okay.
a former mafia guy. Uh,
Hmm.
there is Scammer Payback.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah, that's a good channel. And then Sincerely KSO, she does reaction videos to songs that she had never heard before.
Whoa.
Uh,
Okay.
yeah, there is a hydraulic press channel.
Okay.
Right,
Is it
yeah.
about the hydraulic presses or something else?
No, no, it's just putting stuff in the hydraulic press and see
Ah,
what
okay.
happens. Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
know what that is. My
yeah,
kids
yeah,
watch it.
yeah, yeah. That's
All
pretty
right.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah. I watch quite a few channels as well. One of my favorites, and I use this both for amusement as well as inspiration, is Wheezy Waiter. So it's run by Craig Benzine, and it started off as something, but over the years, I think he's been on YouTube for more than 10, 12 years now. Nowadays, he does a lot of lifestyle exploration, creativity, and all of that. So that, and then I watch. I mean, I do watch quite a bit because I'm a YouTuber, so I want to know what is how others are making their videos and learn from their craft and get inspiration and all of that. Um, Recently, I've started watching another channel called Kurzgesagt. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but they make animated illustrations on science problems and science stuff. So, for example, one of the recent videos that they did is on, I think the one that we all watched downstairs with family is, what if moon falls into Earth? Like, how would that look like? And then they just make animated story around what happens, how long it'll take, what's the end status going to look like, at each point of moon's journey into Earth, because Earth's gravity gotten so much bigger or whatever, and then somehow pull it into moon into us. How would that look like? What's gonna happen? What things will go wrong, and all of that. So yeah, that's fun. I guess when it comes to MVPs, obviously there's the you got Bill Jalen there, you got Leila Garani there, you got all these other wonderful people making awesome content. So I
Yeah.
watch pretty much all of them. I don't really watch their videos, but I keep up with what they're putting out. I deliberately choose to not watch other Excel channel videos simply because I'm afraid some of their videos might impact the style or the way I do my videos. So I try to be more of a neutral observer. And if I watch it because it's an extremely curious topic, but I know exactly what they're publishing. So I can see, oh, this is what they're doing. But I don't want to watch their video because, I don't want to unconsciously say the same things they're saying in their videos.
You say this. Start watching to see if you might say something that I'd usually say, right?
Yeah.
I
mean, we are talking now, so I might actually have some rub-off effect. But
yeah. That was funny. Yeah.
Cool.
All right. All right.
Yeah, I think we are around 2 hours mark. I mean, there's still more questions, but it was fun.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. I hope you all enjoyed it. Whoever is watching the stream still with us. It was good to catch up with some of the regulars and some of the new ones on the chat. And definitely, we kind of covered whole spectrum of things, including dead skunks on the road. So that's probably the highlight of this stream. In case you missed everything, I'll probably go back and watch the dead skunk bit, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, Chandas. What is it? Yeah, Chandas. Right. That's a good name there.
Yeah.
If I have some kids, I might name it Chandas. Yeah.
Oh, see, the Koranas is somewhat like Kuskusat. Okay, that's one. Interesting.
All right. Claire was here. Claire. Good.
Yeah. Claire's was by Chandeep and Oz. It's just Chandoo, but probably easier to confuse me with Chandeep, but that's all good.
Yeah. So, all right. This has been great. I really appreciate this, Jake, and all the questions. And this is beautiful. It's been beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you all. And good to have you. Maybe we get to do this some other time. But those of you who are watching, I do the live stream every last Friday of every month. So feel free to catch up next month. Sometimes it's a topic. Sometimes it's like an open Q&A like this, where there is no specific agenda, but just talking about stuff. So, yeah.
All right.
Someone says,
so Claire has apologized. So now...
that's cool. I know it's easy to make a mistake. That's fine.
All right.
Have a great day. Dino says, oh, thank you, Dino. And you guys have a great day as well. What are you doing this weekend, Oz?
This weekend, I've got to get on making another YouTube video. It's been a few weeks. I've been tied up with the book and stuff. So I need to get on that. Now that things are kind of opened up, think about my next YouTube videos.
Cool.
Yeah.
I have got some exciting news as well. It's not really exciting for you, but it's exciting for me. I've been, for the last couple of years, I've always thought, I should learn a music instrument. But I never really played any music, nor I learned anything about music as a kid. So, I listen to a lot of music, and I like to think that there is a little bit of musical sense in my mind, but I don't know. So I thought, okay, enough procrastination. Let's just put it into test. So I went ahead and bought myself a small keyboard, just the bare basic one, the beginner version. And it's my plan to basically try and learn how to play a keyboard for the next 1 year. So I want to just play every day just for fun. I have no aspirations. I don't think I can even make a song, but I just want to play it, see how far I can go. So one thing that I was thinking is I should make it a little bit more like a game. So I made this nice little printout. I hope you can see it there. It's basically a 12-month calendar, 31 days in each column. So, and then on the left-hand side is Monday to Sunday, and then it kind of repeats. And the dates are there. So I'm going to stick it up on my wall right next to the keyboard. That way,
Yes.
every day I practice, I'm gonna tick a day. So it's gonna make for a nice little uh, paper chart, really like an
Right.
Excel chart, but on the paper.
Right.
So I made this. I'm gonna just show the Excel spreadsheet because I thought that was a fun thing to do. I'm really looking forward to that. Yeah. So this is the spreadsheet that I created for printing it out and using the dynamic array formulas and all that.
Mhm.
It's what is more important is that I actually test it out and then see. So yeah, I don't know. In future, probably you might when in some other live stream or something. I'll share how things are going. But that's
Yeah.
that.
All right. All right.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
yeah. Oh, good.
Good.
It's
Yeah,
good
it's all
catching up
good.
with you. And
Yep.
rest of you all have a lovely rest of the Friday. Or if you're already in Saturday like me, have a good, fabulous weekend. And I'll see you next month or maybe some other time on the channel.
All
Thank you,
right.
Oz.
Thank you. All right.
Thanks. Right. Bye.